happy Saturday. I'm not sure what time it is. It's like 2:47. Just got done with work. Time to do mobility. No training today. I rest on the weekends. Well, not rest, but like I'm just gonna do some upper body mobility. Since I'm a little bit sore from yesterday's pike push-ups and pull-ups. Oh, let me go. Actually, I don't need a band. I can just use this. And the first thing I'm going to start with, so shoulders are pretty, like as complicated as they are, they're also pretty simple. Like you can pretty much cover everything you need to in a couple movements. Well, really more like 5. One of them being shoulder dislocates. If you grab a bar, like a PVC pipe or like a broomstick or a resistance band, you can grab it and you just wrap it around like so and back forward. And you want to make sure your shoulders pass evenly at the same time. You don't want to be like one side at a time. I mean, you probably will at first. I was definitely, when I first started doing these, I would go like one side at a time. But over time, as you get more mobility, you'll loosen up and be able to do it more smoothly. And an additional benefit, we're also literally sitting in Seiza right now. So we're sneaking in some lower body flexibility, but from the side. So when you do these, you don't want to let your back extend as you reach upwards, because when you extend as you reach, you're not testing your shoulder mobility. At that point, you're compensating for that mobility in your spine instead of, which mine definitely needs a lot of work. But that's why we practice. So I just like to do these until I feel loose. And I do these like every day. All the mobility stuff that I do that I'm going to continue to be posting, I do every day. I move a lot throughout the day because like when I'm training clients, I'm showing them how to do things and whatnot. And whenever they're doing their set, I am usually doing something that requires physical effort, even if it's just like a balance board, or sitting in the bottom of the squat. So I spend a lot of time on the floor. So that's shoulder dislocates. Another one that you need the floor for so on these, we're not going to reach straight up and we're not reaching straight out. It's diagonal. And when you pull, think of like pulling your elbows into your back pockets, if that makes sense. And when you go, you want your back to be flush with the ground. You don't want to have a big gap like this. Because when you go to move your arms, you're cheating the shoulder mobility by extending your spine. And B, your core isn't engaged. So unengaged core versus engaged core. And when you engage your core, you lie your hands flat and extend, and then you just reach down as far as you can while keeping your hands in contact with the floor. So I'm actively pushing my hands into the ground as hard as I can, using my back muscles while I pull and push them up, while also keeping tension in the core and not letting, so you don't want to pull and let your back come up. Keep the core engaged. And these are honestly pretty tough. I need to continue working on these a lot, but the goal is to keep everything connected with the floor. You don't want to let your wrists come up a lot. It's much harder to keep the wrists flat with the floor, because kind of the way that you can cheat your shoulder by extending your back, you can do the same by extending your wrist. My shoulders are not on the ground if I'm like this. This is less shoulder mobility than that. So aim to keep the wrist down, and if you need to, you can use like a dumbbell, like a 5-pound dumbbell, to hold your hands on the ground. So these are really good too. I just like to do these until I loosen up. Again, because this is something that you should be doing consistently. So it's not too big of a deal to keep track of it, and you can, I just do what makes me feel good. And if I had to put a rep scheme to that, depending on the movement, it could be anywhere from literally like 5 to 50 reps, depending on how tight I am or what movement it is. The point is to explore and just have fun with it. So anyways, that was that. What's next? Ooh. Yeah, lats. So obviously this is gonna get lats, but a way that I like to also get a little bit of tricep involved is if I come into it with bent arms and reach through. The more you bend your arm, the more of a stretch you'll feel in the tricep. So primarily lats, and then more and more and more and more and more tricep the more you close your arms. And I feel good when I can get my hands pretty much to the back of my neck. That feels good for me. And then another way too that you can open up your lats, you need a dumbbell and a foam roller. Is you can lay and reach the dumbbell overhead, keeping the arm straight, and just let yourself open up. This one's pretty tough for me. You might even feel it in the pecs. Totally okay. I need to do this one more often. It doesn't necessarily feel that comfortable. Ooh, a little pop action. Okay. And then, oh, well, since I have the dumbbell, a really good movement that everyone should do and be able to do is if you place your elbow on top of your knee and let the weight go down, keeping the shoulder pinned down and back. Don't let your shoulder run forward. Keep the shoulder pinned down and back, and you'll feel a big stretch through the front of the shoulder, and then squeeze back up. So I'm actually a lot stronger on my right than my left, and most people are stronger on one side than the other just because of like I'm right-handed, and yeah, whatnot. So starting here, being able to go down, back up, down, keeping the shoulder pinned down and back up. Feel the stretch forward and squeeze, come back up. Feel the stretch, bam. That works on external rotation. And the way that we can work on internal rotation is if we get back on the floor. Back parts. Anyways, get back on the floor in our position. And once we're here, we can reach forward and back and forward and back and forward. And we can do that in various angles. Again, just play around with it. See what makes you feel good. Don't push through any pain. Last one I'm gonna have to change the camera angle. But they're called shoulder It's called a shoulder rock. It's the same thing as like mace swings, but I'm gonna change the camera angle and do that in a sec. Okay. So this is called the shoulder rock. I do anywhere from like 10 to 50 of these a day on each arm. And all you're doing is you're just swinging it around in a circle. The weight will move itself. My muscles are just there to stabilize everything that's going on. And for reference, this weighs 8 pounds. You at the gym, if your gym has like the straight bars, you can use the same thing to do it. Like the weighted, like probably next to the PVC pipes is where they are at the gym I train at. But anyways, 90-degree angles are very important. They're very strong, and we want to be holding a 90-degree angle at our arm while we do the spins or the swings, whatever you want to call it. So I will definitely be making a video going super in depth into this because this is one of my favorite training tools ever and has taught me a lot about how to coordinate my body in a way that allows you to produce a lot of force. Because producing force is limited by your ability to be stable. And if you notice, I just took 1 foot off the ground, which makes this, you have to be a lot more balanced and stable. I'll go ahead and switch sides. And it's very important on these, when you swing, don't let it yank your torso. You need to keep tension in the core, keep everything nice and tight. Okay, I'm not gonna film the rest of them, because that would just take time. And I'll make a video about it another time. That was it for today. Gonna meal prep some beef. And, oh, I need a thought. Yeah, I'm glad I just reminded myself. So I'm gonna do that. And then tomorrow, more mobility of some sort. I hope you have a good weekend. Thanks for hanging out. See you tomorrow.